A man who can ask for directions, for help, admit he's wrong, huge green flag. So I get asked all the time, like, especially given my history of, domestic violence, stalkers, like blah, blah, blah. I've had the whole range, right? The whole range. And I'm married to a really great guy. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, there's no blueprint. Because if I say, like, well, a man who does this, blah, 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 then there's always going to be an exception. Always, always, always. So instead, I try to just tell people things to look for that'll help you at least cut them off earlier, or like see this as a sign, but taking it slow, making sure you're talking to other people who have the kind of relationships you want, because they're going to give you honest feedback. So one of the things that I noticed right away with my husband is that he has no problem admitting when he's wrong. And not in the like manipulative, like typical male way where they're like, I'm sorry. And they say they're sorry just to shut you up, but they actually have no idea what they did wrong, don't care, and will probably do it again. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about my husband is always, anytime we have a disagreement, he is the first person to admit that he's wrong. And he always knows how he's wrong. Like he says, I'm so sorry, babe. And I was like, darn. Like I couldn't have put it better than he did. So it is very clear by the way he is talking about it, he absolutely gets. I don't have to educate him on why he's wrong. He's not defensive. The best thing we usually do is if we get in a little spat or something, we just take some time apart so we can reflect, like, what's going on here? Sometimes it's like a trauma response and I am totally projecting a bunch of crap onto him, which is another reason why it's really good for me to take space and also sometimes call one of my mentors or my best friend or somebody to help me see, like, through this fog, is this like trauma response or is this like legit issue we need to deal with? He, on the other hand, he figures it out really quickly. I don't have to educate him. I don't have to be like, because he already is in the habit of decentering himself. He doesn't have that like, well, I'm a man, I'm always right, but... And especially because he's been deconstructing patriarchy, he knows by now that there's a very good chance that this is something that maybe is, that maybe he is doing that is like in line with the way men are raised. So like, even like sometimes he's like, I'm sorry, babe, I was totally, in my shame. I was not being thoughtful, whatever. And so this is in the same like wheelhouse as like somebody who has no problem admitting they're wrong is also someone who has no problem asking for directions or help. Because even though Anthony is a very confident man, true confidence, not cockiness, he's also a very humble man. He questions himself regularly. And that was a huge green flag for me.